We're talking Ball State. Don Shondell and Ray McCallum talking Ball State. Nate Davis and Bonzi Wells. Schumann, Bell Tower, and Worthen. Fans all over from Muncie to Berlin. Getting Cannons, Carters, and Greeks. All right, everyone out there in Cardinal land, welcome to another live edition of Ball State of the Union, your number one Ball State football podcast. By the fans, for the fans. We're talking current headlines, exclusive interviews with Cardinal athletes and coaches and mascots, to be determined, that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on all of your favorite social media platforms. And as always, remember, when you hear that song, that catchy tune, just remember we're about to be talking Ball State. Now, everyone, again, I said it in the intro, but we are live. We are live right now on YouTube. We are live on Twitter or X, whatever you prefer to call it, and on Facebook. So be sure if you have any questions or comments throughout the show about anything that you see bye-week related, some of our guests we're going to have on, put them in the chat on those three sites, and we will get to them all at the end of the show. Now, Colin, before we jump into our first interview of the night, we got to talk a little business here. As always, Ball State of the Union is partnering with The Shop Indy. That's www.theshopindy.com. And you can use that code BSUnion when you check out, and you'll get free shipping on your order. You can get anything. You can get Colts stuff. You can get Pacer stuff. You can get Indiana Fever stuff. And, of course, obviously, Ball State stuff. Now, they also have Purdue, Indiana, Butler. I don't know why you would want that. But if for some reason you do, use that code BSUnion, and you will get free shipping on that order. Again, that's code BSUnion. All right. Now, Colin, I know me and you have talked about this for a long time. You know, when we first started the show, we were looking for interesting people we wanted to have come on in the Ball State space. And one of the first things I asked you was, do you know any Charlie Cardinals? And did you know any of them?
I didn't. It's like maybe a Spider-Man thing. You don't know who's under the mask or under the helmet, if you will.
That's true. So you might have known some. And guess what? We have actually found one. We have found a Charlie Cardinal, and she is here with us right now to tell us everything, what it's like being Charlie and taking us behind the beak. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Lauren Jackson. She has been a former Charlie Cardinal. She's here with us. Lauren, thank you so much for joining the show tonight. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. This is awesome.
Yeah. So we try to find and bring as many interesting people in the Ball State space as we can. And like I said, I've always wanted to find a Charlie Cardinal to talk. And so I have one now. So my first question for you, Lauren, how does one become Charlie Cardinal?
It's a great question. And I had kind of a very interesting story behind that because I never really became Charlie. Charlie became me.
Okay.
If that's anything. So I was Charlie for all 4 years.
Okay.
I came into Ball State undecided major. And I saw kind of the sports administration class, and I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. It kind of goes along the entire sports world and dives into everything. And I don't know really what I want to do. And so I added that as my minor. And right off the bat, the professor at the time, he had us do like 30 service hours and volunteering hours with Ball State sports. And we had to sign up for all these different volunteering hours. And so I did Ball State football parking because we had to do it. And I got there a little early, and I talked with the operations manager, Nick Williams, at the time. And I was like, hey, what does your game day look like? What does it look like day to day? I'm kind of interested in this being in my field of work, and I don't really know what I want to do. Could I shadow you? And he was like, yeah, of course. So he threw me keys to a golf cart. He tossed me a walkie-talkie and a field pass, and he said, be here every home game and come to my office and we'll chat. And I said, oh, okay. So what I would do during every home game, the first two, is I went off in the golf cart. I picked people up, like the handicapped or disabled people, or people that couldn't really walk too far, off in the parking lot, and I drove them up to the gate. I dropped them off. I parked my gator, and I walked onto the field, and I just stood there and I chatted with people. And during that first home football game of my freshman year, Charlie came up to me and she kind of knelt down and was like, "Hey, like I see your personality. You're literally vibrating enthusiasm, and I think you could do this. Like, what do you say?" And I was like, "Sure." I mean, at this point, I was always told, "Don't say no to everything, and
Mhm.
say yes to everything." And so I was like, "All right, I'll try it. Like something new. I got to get out there. I'm from Michigan. I'm in a new state. I'm in a new place. Like, might as well." And my first gig was on indie national TV at Indie Star.
Okay.
So, and it just kind of stuck from there. Like it was awesome. I don't know really how else to say it. I knew that I wanted to make people smile and make people's lives better and spread joy and love everywhere. And being in a suit and being able to goof off and get away with everything was the perfect way to do that.
So
Mm.
you're talking about that first time you put the suit on. When that happens, what's going through
I,
your mind? Like,
I
are you
was
just,
like, all
are you
right.
like, how did I get here? Like, how am I putting this big, huge head, these big, huge feet on? Like, what's kind of going through your mind when this happens?
So, first time I ever put the suit on, I was in a back little green room with no help whatsoever because I had no idea how to put the suit on. Nobody told me. Um, it was like 6 in the morning for this show, and I didn't know like what pieces and parts went where. So I ended up like not having any socks for that day. And if like there's a tweet or a X floating around somewhere where somebody had zoomed into the very bottom of the screen and you can see like a freckle on my leg because I didn't have any socks on, and they're like, I'll find this Charlie." But yeah, it was really going through my head of like, what am I doing here? And how did I get to this part? And this is kind of weird. Really. And then it just kind of like knowing what all I've gone through since then, and all the opportunities and the experiences that it's led me to, it's like, holy crap, like I really had no idea how much this meant for everybody representing the student body.
Oh yeah. So Charlie Cardinal's been a fan favorite forever, and obviously one of the biggest college football fans, Ball State football fans, is my friend Colin here. I know he had a couple questions for you as well about your life
Yeah.
in the suit.
Yeah, Lauren, so maybe a general question, like what's it like to be Charlie? What maybe the hardest part about being the mascot? Like, is it the suit is heavy? Maybe it's hot in there. What is the hardest part of your life as Charlie?
All right, so from what I can recall from my time as Charlie, I was at everything. I did a lot of appearances everywhere, and so I was mainly at football and basketball games and some volleyball games too. And a lot of the time, most people don't really realize that the mascot is an athlete too.
Mm.
Like it takes so much prep and being in the gym and prepping yourself for that kind of heat exposure to be in the suit in that kind of degree heat. So I'll say for example, there is a picture of me as me in suit at Western Kentucky University,
Mm.
and it was 105 degrees out on the turf, and in the suit it's about 20 degrees hotter.
Oh yeah.
So I was cooking. I was not too happy. I was with all the other cheerleaders and spirit squad, and they were just mumbling and complaining. And I just said, "Hey, you want to switch?" Like, I promise you I have it much worse in here. And so after like all that insulation, like you can't really move that much because the suit now is so padded. I was actually one of the people that was able to design the new suit and give him the
Oh,
muscles that he's got
buff
now. And
Charlie. Yes.
so
Okay.
yeah, we've got buff Charlie now. And so just being able to manipulate the suit and the movements to be able to interact with the crowd in a way that you want the feedback was tough at sometimes because sometimes Ball State didn't win, and
Mhm.
it was really hard to have that positive interaction and get people riled up when we just weren't winning.
Have you ever dealt with any like really upset fans or like any mean opposing mascots?
Yeah, like
Yes.
the guy at the Western Kentucky, the hilltopper, the big red blob. I know he's kind of a famous one. I know you're talking about them.
um I did meet the Hilltopper
Mm.
Blob. He was awesome. Most mascots are usually Spirit Squad members or just really enthusiastic people that want to get out there. And so we're all in a community. We're all in the same boat. We're very supportive of each other. It does tend to be some of a rivalry when you put on the suit and you're out in front of people, but it's all love and games. We don't want to hurt anybody. Like nobody's out to take your head off, kind of thing. Kind of like the other guys on the field, right? But when it does come to college games, there are drunk fans and people under the influence and people trying to be funny and dealing with those situations. So it's kind of like a self-defense of how can I protect myself, but also those around me, kind of thing. So those have been like pretty much the roughest things that I've been a part of, other than getting a concussion during the volleyball season.
Oh, how'd that happen?
So during men's volleyball, actually, this sweet, just big teddy bear of a guy, we all know him, AL Riots. He ended up swiping my feet out from under me because he went in to dig for a ball, and he didn't see me and I didn't see him, and he just like got my feet and I hit the floor and I went beak first and I was just a dead bird on the floor and I got wind knocked out of me and got whiplash, and he was like, "Oh my God, Charlie, I'm so sorry." And I like mascots can't talk, so it's like our number one rule. And I just kind of like had to regain my balance and I just sat there, and the rest of the game I was still in suit. I fought through it. I should not have been. But I was just like, oh my God, what is like, I know this feeling. I know it's a concussion, but I don't want to be done yet. But that ended up taking me about a month out of school. Yeah.
Ooh.
That was a lot. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of physical demand.
So, Lauren, you kind of touched on it a little bit, like mascots not being able to speak. How did you learn to communicate without words, just using gestures and body language? How did you really gain that skill?
Yeah, so growing up, I did a lot of sign language with my mom and like just us when we communicate, when it's like the silent communications, like no, yes, sit down, friends, or like we just need water if we need water, or if we need a break. Like it's just those kind of very easy to read hand gestures, and people usually get the memo. It's hard to teach everybody sign language fluently. So, being able to go off of like, you have to really like make sure that people are getting the gist, especially like we all talk with our hands. Mascots can't use our voices, so we have to be able to display that while using our hands as well.
All right. So here's a question I've always wanted to know. What is your favorite dance move, signature thing you use to fire up the crowd? What's your go-to move as Charlie Cardinal?
I always went into the splits.
Oh, okay.
So I brought back Dancing Charlie, and I was the one that was able to start off doing dances with Code Red. There has been Charlies in the past that have been dancing with Code Red, but this one, like my starting my freshman year to junior year, because senior year I was a little busy for everything. So junior year to freshman year to junior year, I was really able to get into some Code Red rehearsals and get dancing with them. And I didn't have any dance background. So it was a lot of fun to be able to learn those new things and then kind of just drop into the splits and wow the crowd. And they just like look at me like, oh my God, Charlie just did that.
Now, how many Charlie Cardinals are there at any given time? Is it just you, or is there other ones running around as well?
I can't tell you that, but
Okay,
I
fair
will
enough.
tell you that there was 4 Charlies that graduated with me.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
But we
Okay.
have 5 different Charlie suits because we're all different heights and weights. We're
Okay.
not all the same. And there are anybody can be a mascot.
Yeah, say I'm about 6'6", 6'5", depending on the day. Can I be Charlie Cardinal?
You could. You'd have
Okay.
to like squish a little bit,
Yeah.
but you could if you really wanted to, and you'd have to wear really tall socks.
Lauren, what would you say is your favorite memory you have being Charlie Cardinal?
I'd say watching people grow up with me
Oh,
kind of thing. So there was this one little girl I think her mom was a professor at Ball State. I don't know because I never met them outside of the suit, but they were always at basketball games, always. And they were at every single game. Every year, I was also the MC for Ball State athletics. And so when I wasn't Charlie, I was MCing. And so I was able to interact with them both in suit and out of suit, but they had no idea. And getting to see the impact of how a mascot can have on somebody's day, and without using words and just by using actions, was so touching to me and so just heartfelt, and everybody needs that. And I don't think that people realize that they need
Mm.
to feel that kind of love and feel like they were almost chosen. Like, you ever get a time when a mascot comes up to you and you feel like you're the chosen one, and you get really excited and you don't know how to act and you're just all flustered? Like, that's how everybody should feel. And it's being able to make everybody feel like that. So it's having those one-on-one interactions and being able to make everybody feel like they're special.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I never thought of it that way, about how it could be that special one-on-one interaction with the mascot, because it seems like it's one of two things you see when a mascot shows up. It's either that it's a great touching moment between the mascot and the kids and the family, or the mascot's pulling out like a shaving cream pie and shoving it in your face. So
Pretty much.
it's one of those scenarios usually. So that's a good way to put it, especially from someone who's never been a mascot before. But you said maybe I could be. I just have to.
Anybody can.
So before we get into our rapid fire segment, which is usually Collins, it's one of the toughest journalism segments in the MAC, but I'm actually going to be handling it today for the first time. I have one more question before we get into that.
Yeah.
What did being Charlie Cardinal teach you about Ball State pride and about yourself?
It's not just about me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a part of something much bigger. I am not only representing the students of Ball State, not only the student section of Ball State, but the entire Ball State as a whole, and the mascot world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me.
Okay. Very well put.
I got one more question too, John.
Okay, go ahead.
Before you do rapid fire, my bad.
Okay.
What is I went to the Purdue game, which was, Ball State, Purdue, so it's a away game, but I saw Charlie Cardinal there. And he was like kind of on the field somewhere, but I never really got to interact with him. What is the mascot's job during an away game?
So that's a very interesting question, because I've been to a couple away games. It's a very rare thing because you always have to worry about travel and security and handling and, all of that. And usually when we go to away games, we only get about 20 to 30 yards of movement on the field, and you can only stay within those things, and you can't go into the stands because it's against the rules of that facility. Some facilities differ, but most of the time you only get a specific amount of space, and you have to stay with your spirit squad at all time, and whatever the spirit squad rules are, your rules are that too. So a lot of the time, if you do see your same fans, you may be able to go up to them. It really depends on where they are and what your access is to them. But most of the time, you're either on the field or you're off getting water.
Okay. All right, here we go. This is the toughest interview segment in the entire Mid-American Conference. This is Collins rapid fire questions, but today I'm going to do them. So rapid fire, just a quick answer with whatever comes in your head first. All right. If Charlie Cardinal had a theme song, what would it be?
Freebird, Leonard Skinner.
Okay, great. Did you ever fall while wearing the costume?
Yeah.
And was it because of the feet?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay. This one is going to require a little bit more. What are the rules for talking? I know you said it's the number one rule not to do it, but is that like they tell you day one, hey, no talking, or how does that work?
Yeah. Pretty much we have some mascots sign an NDA.
Okay.
And other, like, some people are get very, very serious, like Sparty from the Michigan State Spartans, and Brutus from the Ohio State University. And then with our Charlies, like some people take it really seriously and some people don't. My rule was that unless I'm in dire need of danger, and I need to get out, then I'll talk. Or if I'm with my handler or people that know me, then I can talk with them, but only selectively.
Okay. What's the weirdest request you ever got from a fan as Charlie Cardinal?
There's been a lot. I will do a fun request though.
Okay, that's fine.
Charlie's have been to weddings. I've done gender reveals and I've done baby announcements.
Oh,
Yes.
very cool. If Charlie could star in a buddy cop comedy, who would the mascot he starred in it with be?
Well, it depends. Am I the buddy or the cop?
Dealer's
Which-
choice. Your choice.
I would say maybe the Toledo Rockets mascots.
Oh, okay.
They're always fun. They're always very sweet people. And I think another option for that would be what's his name? Swoop. From
Eastern Michigan?
No.
Swoop.
Swoop.
Swoop from
Ohio? No.
Bowling Green?
No, those are the Bowling Green mascots. There's two of them for Bowling Green,
Okay.
but Swoop is I think it's Miami of Ohio.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Swoop
Okay.
is always fun too.
Okay. All right. And actually, during this rapid fire, we actually have 2 fan submitted questions right now. So here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Number 1, our good friend Jeremy Bryant. What is your favorite event to do as Charlie Cardinal?
My favorite event? I'd say probably football or basketball, one of the two.
Okay.
I also really loved doing air jam because I did air jam all 3 years, and then my senior year I was on homecoming court.
Okay. And then the other one, I can't put it on screen right now, but I got a text. It's our good friend Chris Radican, who's going to be coming on after you. He's the Ball State radio analyst, and he wants to know, who do you think is the greatest mascot of all time?
That's a loaded question because they're all so good in their own categories. I love Benny the Bull from Chicago Bulls.
Oh, okay.
I
Colin's a
think
Bulls
he
fan.
That's a
is
good one.
hilarious. But yeah, it's in their all own genres. I love all of the indie mascots. I'm partial to Indie Ignite because I work for them and Pepper is my boss, but Pepper is an absolute diva and I love her to death. I also just absolutely enjoy the Phillies mascot, the Philly
yeah.
fanatic. He is awesome. The Astros mascot, Orbit. I could go on a whole. I
There
could
we
go
go.
on a whole tangent, but
You're a mascot historian. So, all right, Lauren, before we get you out of here, I know you mentioned the Indie Ignite. Tell us what you're up to now, and where the fans can find you out there.
Yeah, you can follow me at l.jax18 on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, Lauren Jackson, and I am working for Indie Ignite Pro Volleyball. Oops, my neighbors are home. And I am their fan experience coordinator and head mascot coordinator as well. So I am loving life. I'm living in Fishers. And I am just absolutely so psyched that these opportunities have brought me to where I am today.
Very good. So I worked in the sports world for a while as well, so I know Ball State is a great place to get you started there. So again, Lauren, I've been looking forward to doing an interview like this for a long time. It was great. We appreciate your time.
Of
If
course.
anyone ever sees Lauren or any Charlie Cardinals out there, show them
Chirp,
some
chirp.
love. All right. Chirp, chirp. All right. Thank you, Lauren, very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good one. All right. So that was our interview with a Charlie Cardinal. Colin, what'd you think?
What a legend. And she was spot on. I looked it up. Swoop is the Miami, Ohio Redhawks
Okay.
mascot. And so I think he's also Eastern Michigan as well. So there's 2 Swoops. So good on her. She knew her mascot stuff. If there
That's
was
right.
anyone who knew it, it was her.
That's right, for sure. Like I said, we have Chris Radican. He's going to be coming on in just a second, as well as our co-host Willie Sneed. He'll be joining us in just a moment too. But before we bring him on, I have one more thing I wanted to share with the people out there. You might have saw at some point this week, but Ball State of the Union is actually a member now of the College Huddle. The College Huddle is a community of independently made college sports podcast, basically. So Ball State of the Union is on there. So that's not really going to change too much for the show day to day. But basically what you'll see is you might see some other College Huddle members come on the show, us go on their shows, stuff like that. You can find us on their website. So they have a big, basically database of these content creators out there, and we're now a part of it. So if you're for whatever reason a fan of Ball State and you're a fan of Florida State, you can go on there. They're going to have a Florida State podcast. So I have all kinds of stuff. It's a great site. It's a great community. So we're excited to be a part of it. So Colin, I know you've been working with me on this. We have an Ohio person from the College Huddle coming on for the next week's game. What are your thoughts on us joining the College Huddle here?
Yeah, for one, I'm excited just because, I mean, we'll get more exposure. And I think it'll kind of help both of us here because we can look at this list of, every school that has a pod just like ours. And the interesting thing, and John, I've already kind of pointed this out before on a previous show, but not a lot of MAC schools have podcasts like our podcast. And even those schools that do have pods, so say the Ohio Bobcats have a pod. I think Toledo has a pod on there too. UMass, even though they're not affiliated with the College Huddle, they have a really big online presence. But other than that, John, there's not a lot of schools in the MAC that have a podcast. So I'm so glad that we're able to bring this to the Ball State fans, and not just with you or I, but also with the expertise of people like Chris Radican, 10-year NFL veteran Willie Snead, Trey Moses coming aboard. So we've got the people who have really excelled and done these sports with the Cardinal logo on them, and we're excited to bring our brand to the College Huddle. I think we're one of the bigger group of 5 pods that are actually with the College Huddle. So I think this partnership helps both of us, and I'm super excited for it, John.
Excellently put. All right. We'll be joined by Willie Snead here in just a moment, but we got the man, we got the myth, we got the legend, Chris Radican here with us right now. So I think we'll go ahead and just bring him on right now. So ladies and gentlemen, great friend of the show. I saw him this past weekend in Connecticut. Here he is, Chris Radican. Chris, there he is.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Good.
Doing well, thank you. Doing very well.
So Chris, before we get into all things Ball State, again, Willie's going to be joining us here in just a moment. I see that W behind you. How's this Cubs playoff race going to play out here?
I hope it's great. I really do. I'm hesitant to say right now, only because they've basically tanked the last week, and I know they got a spot in the playoffs, and they're playing some other guys, but I hope they can get the pitching going and get some offense going and kind of make a run in October. It'd be really nice to have that. The flag hasn't been up in about a week. It's kind of sad. So, and I thought it was going back up last night, and I watched that, and it imploded on me. So, it's a little upset about 11:30 last night when I went to bed.
Hey, I'm a Detroit Tigers fan, and they've basically lost 1,000 games in a row. I think they had a 12 game lead in early September, and they're losing. They're in second place now. So
it's crazy. They were the 2 best teams in May. It wasn't even close.
Nope. And here we are.
I'm going to one up both of you guys. I'm a White Sox fan, so how about paying there? I don't watch because I'm a Sox fan. They're not worth watching, but I'm technically a White Sox fan.
That's rough, Colin.
Yeah. So you've basically been out of it since the first day of spring training. So
since 2006.
Yeah, pretty much. So hey, Chris, we're going to jump into all things this season so far, and I'm somewhat stalling a little bit for Willie to get here because I know he has some questions for you. But I wanted to ask you. It seemed like a pretty crazy travel day coming back from Connecticut. What exactly happened?
Yeah, I don't want to embellish or anything like that. It was rough. It was really rough, boys. We got, the game ended as it always does, and everybody says their goodbyes and gets on a bus, and the airport was super close. It was probably maybe 15 minutes away, if that. Get on the plane as usual. It's a 25% screening, meaning only a fourth of the travelers have to go through a screening process, and then they get us on the plane. We sit there, and they come on and say, computer issue. We're trying to get it fixed. They had to reboot. They had to bring a crew in to take a look at it, and before you know it, it was 11:30-ish. I know what time you and I said goodbye. It was 7:30, right? So
yeah, something like that.
You're talking 4 hours after the game. They finally came on, Coach, and I saw the door open. I'll never forget this scene. The door open, and Ryan Lazon and Pete Raleigh, our ops people, I saw them put their backpacks on and get off the plane, and I looked over at Mark Forrest. I go, "Wait, we're not leaving. We're not leaving." And Coach U got up on the mic like he was a flight attendant, and he's like, hey, here's the deal. Flight's canceled. We're going back to the hotel. We're leaving at 11 o'clock tomorrow. And you're just looking around like, damn. So and it put me in a big bind because I didn't have anybody at home. My wife was out of town. The dog was at home alone.
Oh.
She left at like 8, thinking I'd be home at like 9:30 or 10. So I had to call a neighbor who, thank God, came over and took care of the doggy. So
in that scenario, how do you guys get a hotel at that point?
Everybody has asked me that, and I need to ask Pete or Ryan how that happens. My only thought, and I will get clarification on this. My only thought is they keep those rooms on standby, is what I'm guessing. Because when we walked in the hotel, it was almost 1 a.m. They handed every single one of us a key as we walked in and said, "Here's your room number. See you in the morning. Breakfast is at 8." And so yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know where they got the buses. I don't know how they got the hotel rooms. Boys, they had 150 pizzas waiting in the lobby for us, and 30 cases, and probably 30 cases of drinks, waters and Gatorades. So they had food and drinks and rooms waiting on us. And yeah, I don't know how they do that. Pete Raleigh is a wonderful ops guy, and he and Ryan Lazan together do a wonderful job. I don't know how they put it all together. They must have done it while we were waiting during the delay, kind of setting all that up, I'm guessing, just as a contingency. They did a great job, and it went off without a hitch other than the flight delay.
Yeah.
So, and that happens anytime. If you guys travel, anytime you travel, you're taking that chance. The flight's going to get canceled and you're going to get screwed. So it just so happened on a football trip. So
yeah, never fun.
Never fun.
Yeah.
Chris and John, I wanted to ask about the vibe of the team. What's been the vibe since that loss at UConn? It was pretty close, but what were you feeling, Chris? I know people are probably upset about the play, but other than that,
Yeah. The vibe was great on the plane. And even the next morning at breakfast, and as we took the bus back to the airport and then on the flight home, the vibe was great, guys. It was this team had I think it all goes back to the culture that Coach Hughes created on this team. It's a pretty good, they're a pretty cohesive unit. That's an uncontrollable, right? The plane ride, just like a lightning or rain delay or something like that. That's an uncontrollable, and he has beat that into this kids, instilled that into this kids that, hey, that's something you just can't control. They're not going to let it phase them. But the vibe otherwise, like even before the delay, as we were heading to the airport, you could see there was a little bit of spark in the eyes of the team. No one was real down. John, you and I were standing there talking after the game, and you could see the families. They were chopping it up like normal. Not like we had won, but you could tell that they see there's some light at the end of the tunnel for this team. And so there's no woe is me, the sky is falling feeling around this vibe around this team. The atmosphere is great. The team just seems to be clicking as with their culture that he's created. So I feel pretty good about that. No one seems to be like, I'm not going to bag on last year, but you could see it last year. I think it was the JMU game or after, right around that time. You could see there was definitely some guys with that 1,000-yard stare in their eyes that you were looking around like some of these guys are clocking out right now. They're punching their ticket. You can just see they weren't there. And I am truly not here to bag on those guys because that was a rough spot they were in last year. So I'm not sure I wouldn't have done the same. So. Mm-hmm. But I feel pretty good about where these guys are and how they're interacting and how they're feeling.
Okay. So we're about a quarter of the way through the season now. Actually, we are 4 games in.
Yeah.
Where are we at from where you thought we would be preseason? Is this about where you thought we would be? Maybe not even necessarily record-wise, just like it seems like they have gotten better every single week in some aspect of the game. And this week I thought they got better in every facet of the game. Is that kind of where you're at as well? Like, where did you think we would be right now, and have they kind of met those expectations?
Yeah, so I record aside, right? And you said it honestly, 1-3 was probably pretty realistic for where they are, right? If you look back in June and July, what are they going to be after 4? They're probably going to be 1-3. There's not a coach and player on that team that would admit that, but chances of us beating Purdue and Auburn were tough. That was tough sledding. We probably knew we'd beat New Hampshire, and we thought we had a chance at UConn. It happened exactly like I just said, didn't it? So I don't think I'm speaking out of turn, and I don't think I'm stepping on any toes by saying that. I would have liked see them close the deal on Saturday at UConn, because I think they had everybody I've talked to has said the same thing. I think they had the opportunity to close the deal Saturday. They were right there. In so many ways, they have improved week after week after week to this point where, okay, the offense can do what they want to do now. The defense is starting to come together, although they weren't getting stops like they need to on 3rd down and 4th down Saturday. The stats were atrocious on 3rd down. I want to say that UConn was, I think it was 12 for 12 on 3rd and 4th down.
It was something crazy, yeah.
No, it wasn't 12 for 12.
Or it was like
10
5
for
for 5 on 4th down.
5 for 5 on 4th, and I think they were 10 for 12 on 3rd and 4th. So it was pretty bad, and they've got to find a way to get off the field. And I think that will come with time and with a look. Not to bag on the MAC, but they're not going to be playing UConn or Purdue and Auburn going forward. They're never going to see teams like that again. So I like where they're at. I like how the offense has figured out a way to move the ball in several different ways, whether it's a perimeter run game, inside run game, short passing game. They had deep balls Saturday. They weren't able to convert those, as we saw. If they can start putting those things together, getting stops on 3rd down, I thought the special teams was much better, especially better than the New Hampshire game, for sure. They really kind of stepped up their game in that facet. But the biggest disappointment I have so far right now as we stand here on Wednesday the 24th, I think, is that I wish they would stop making mental and physical mistakes. Right? You're always going to make physical mistakes. Guys are going to screw up, step wrong, bad hand placement, bad angle, bad leverage, whatever. But the mental mistakes are killing them right now. And you saw that on Saturday with the 2 incredibly costly penalties. One was on a touchdown run where they had a block in the back. It was a great call, by the way. It was a really good call. It happened, and it happened right in front of the back judge, so it's got to get called. And then the hit out of bounds on the quarterback. That is, that's what you call a hustle play, but you can't have it. You just can't have it. You've got to have guys with football IQ and situational awareness that understand, I can't do this in this situation. That ball literally hit the defender in the back, dropped for an incomplete pass, which meant they weren't going to get a touchdown. And we had to give them the ball back because of that call. And I get it. That player was trying to make a play and trying to make a hit on a quarterback, but it was totally unnecessary. So a little situational awareness. So the mental mistakes have got to get fixed. And I actually had a conversation, and I told you, John, I had a conversation with him on Sunday morning, Coach U, and that was one thing he was going to stress this week was, how do we stop the mental mistakes from killing us in games? There's killing drives on a minimal level, killing drives, killing momentum, or globally, how do we stop it from killing us in a game? So
I'm going to let Colin kind of ask the next question. We don't have a bunch of structure at this because we've had you on enough times. We're just kind of shooting from the hip here. But anyone out there listening, if you have any questions for Chris, for anyone out there, put them in the chats wherever you're listening, whether it's on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Twitter, and we'll ask them as they come up. So, Colin, I know we're kind of doing a broad brush here of the first 4 weeks. What do you got for Chris?
I got something. So, first, I want to touch on that roughing the passer that you just brought up. That was spot on because we just gave him 7 points right there. We could have held him to 3, and then the roughing the passer just gave him 7 points. So, spot on there. One thing I want to throw out there, Chris, and you tell me if you think I'm right or wrong here. Before the half, we had the ball, and, we're getting a first down, maybe 2 first downs, and it seemed like we were okay with just keeping the ball from them. And I saw, like, a couple tweets from Cardinal Nation that was like, we should be really aggressive here, try to get some points, at least try to kick 3. I didn't actually agree with it in the moment, but looking back now, hindsight is always 20/20. And I think, like, if just 2 things went differently, if we kick a field goal at the end of the half and we don't get that roughing the passer, then we can win that game right there.
A field goal wins the game.
We add 3. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
what do you think there? Am I being a little bit too nitpicky here, or is that something that maybe Coach U looks back and is like, I was maybe too content with just keeping the ball from them, and maybe we're more aggressive in the future?
Yeah, it's a good point. It really is, and I'm not one to generally second guess a coach. I'll say this: I think when they look back at it, maybe take the points right, or try to get at least 3. Obviously they did know what was going to happen at the end of the game, and they knew they were comfortable getting the ball in the second half. We were getting it back, so we were getting so. I think when you look back, when you're coaching and you're kind of going over your game and how it went and how the whole how everything transpired, you kind of look at that. Okay, we should have, we could have gone and tried to get 3, and maybe they didn't feel comfortable trying to put it down there. They weren't ready. Maybe they didn't feel like they could get it, or the looks they were getting. Maybe somebody upstairs. We don't know. None of us know. So the looks they were going to get on defense, they maybe just didn't feel comfortable like they could get it, and they were just going to kind of be a little bit more conservative about that. But I get that. Like, I remember watching the Colts game on the plane when we landed. We took us 38 minutes to depart or deplane, and the Colts got the ball. It was 4th down, and Mick looked over at me and goes, "They getting the points here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, and you always take the points, especially early in the game. Like, if you always, because what was the Colts were 4th down on like the 6-yard line, I think, and yeah, they kicked a field goal, and you always kick the field goal early, right? And so
for sure.
I think looking back, if you ask these coaches, in the back room somewhere, they might say, yeah, we probably needed to go get 3 there just to make sure, because all that, just like you said, Colin, all that adds up at the end of the game, right? And you never know what would transpire at the end of the game where you need 3 to win. You're down by 2. You need 3 to win. And you all of a sudden, now, good thing we kicked that field goal in the second quarter, right? So, I think a lot of people watch games and like, God, they need 7. No, you don't always need 7. You don't always need 7. You need to end every drive on a kick, right? It's either a punt, a PAT, or a field goal. And so try to take that in. Like second time I've used the word globally, but to think globally when you're doing stuff like that. And I'm not going to second guess these coaches because they're really smart and they're really heady and they know exactly what they're doing. But I'm guessing they'll have a conversation about that this week.
Mm-hmm. So, Chris, through the first 4 weeks, obviously coming into the season, we had all the the players that everyone's looking out for. Who's impressed you the most through the first 4 weeks?
Well, obviously Donovan Hamilton's really impressed me in the past couple of weeks. Had a really nice catch that he probably should have broke against UNH. He didn't lift his feet when he was running, and he got tripped up. This week he was basically with the covers they were playing. He did a really great job. I think he had 8 targets and 8 catches, and so he didn't drop a ball. I think Quay Ashley's looking really nice. TJ is such an explosive. TJ Horton is such an explosive runner. I can't wait to see what he does over the course of the season as a compliment, what we would call a complimentary back. I think Kyle has done a really nice job in kind of leveling himself a little bit, running for his life week 1 and 2, obviously, yes. Right? And then he is, so I don't think it's fair to judge him on those 2 weeks. But in the past couple of weeks, he's really kind of found a way to kind of find his way and find his niche and how he's going to fit into this season. He's doing a really nice job throwing good balls, being patient, a little bit poised in the pocket, and doing a great job with his feet to give himself more time and giving the receivers more time to get open. I think the punter, Adam Saul's doing a really nice job. It's been a really, really nice surprise.
Colin's #1 fan.
He's great. He is wonderful. And defensively, I like, obviously Nathan Voorhees is a dog, man. That kid is an absolute machine. I think that Darren Conley's done a real nice job. Joey, while he's dinged up, Joey Stemler's a little dinged up right now. That's fine. He'll be back. We got 2 weeks. Jack's done a good job other than the penalty. And I think that, I'd like to get Caden Johnson back because I think he was really improving. And I think the defensive backs, I think the Roman Pearson kid's really special, guys. I think Roman Pearson has really proven to be a really nice defender for us. Good in coverage, good tackler as well. So I like all of them. And Ashton Winter, we knew who he was going to be. Mm-hmm. Ashton Whitner has been a really nice addition to that defensive secondary. Although he's a sniper, I don't know, you don't want to peg him a linebacker or safety, whatever, but been a real nice addition to that as well. So
yeah, Ashton Whitner, I remember the Purdue game. Obviously, they got off to a poor start, but he was pretty noticeable right out the gate, making those plays out of the boundary. But you also brought up the big name, Nathan Voorhees. It seemed like he was getting double teamed against UConn. Is that something that's going to happen the rest of the year after they watch the tape those first 3 weeks? Is that, hey, we're not going to let this guy wreck this game? And if so, who do you think steps up to kind of take the playmaking ability that they might be taking away or trying to take away when he's double teamed?
Well, first of all, yeah, he was getting double teamed. He wasn't getting double teamed. What they were doing, they were sliding to him.
Okay.
So they were working a 3 and a 4-man slide. And what I mean is 3 linemen were going to his side every time. And so they were gap protecting to his side every time. So they were going to make sure there were at least 1.5 to 2 guys covering him on every pass protection play. But more importantly, they did not run 1 5-step drop. They ran like 3 or 4 3-step drops the whole game. So what the quarterback was doing, he's catching it, ball was gone right away. So so Nathan had 0 time to get to the quarterback. Their passes were going out so quickly. It wasn't like when Ryan Brown was dropping back or Jordan Alexander. They were truly getting that ball out as quickly as possible. And their coaches said that after the game to our coaches. We were not going to let you guys rush our quarterback. So they were going to get the ball out quickly, take away that whole dynamic of a pass rush. So that was intentional on UConn's part. So it took that facet out of the game. So Nathan probably wasn't going to get a sack unless the quarterback scrambled and they got a tackle in the backfield. So, but yes, is Nathan going to get double teamed? Absolutely. When you get 3 or 4 sacks in the first 3 weeks, you're going on the radar. When they turn when those coaches flip the film on, they're absolutely 100% going to say, yeah, we got to account for that cat right now. So they're gonna make adjustments, whether they're chipping him, whether they're sliding to his side, whether they're inserting a running back to help cover him. They're going to make sure he doesn't get to the job. Now, who will step up? It's going to need a couple guys from the inside. I think Drew Hughes and Darren Conley from the inside are really going to have to step up. I think Scott Hudson's doing a really nice job. I think Ashton Rocky had made some really nice plays. He came in spells on Saturday. Is a transfer from Butler as well. High motor kid can absolutely play. So there's somebody's going to have to step up on the outside in those 5 and 6 techniques and find a way to get to the quarterback. So I would expect when we get to OU, while they're a really good team, we're going to give them problems defensively. We've done that all year against 4 different teams. We've given problems to the quarterbacks. And I don't expect anything different against OU.
Mm-hmm. All right, Colin, I'll kick it back to you here.
Yeah, and that was exactly where I was going to take it, Chris. I do want to talk about Ohio. You mentioned earlier, like, okay, we're done with the Purdues, we're done with the Auburns, we're done with the UConns. And yeah, we are, but honestly, I think Ohio might be better than UConn. Third quarter, Ohio State, they're down 13-10, still in the battle with them. So just my first question on this is, we have a bye week going into that game. So we have this week off. Ohio still has to play. I believe they're playing Bowling Green.
There.
Is it safe to assume Coach U is going to have all the guys watching that game?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you'll have to have them watch it. They're going to watch it on their own. So these kids are going to be, sitting in their apartment, kind of dorms, wherever they live, palatial estates. These kids are going to be watching the game. They really are. And then they're going to see it on film, right? They're going to go – they're already working on film. So you said it best, Colin. OU's pretty good, boys. This is, here's the difference between OU and, say, Auburn, right, or UConn. They're not going to see OU like they saw Auburn or Purdue or UConn. They're truly not. Those teams are a little bit more high profile. This is a team they see year in and year out. They play them almost every year. I can't remember the last time we didn't play OU, so I'd have to look at the schedules. But so this is not something where they're going to be, oh my God, we have to play OU. No, they just saw them. They just saw them November 26th last year. So a lot of these kids played in that game. So I don't think they're going to be as starstruck just because they beat West Virginia. It was a trap game, by the way. I'm going to say it on the air right now for a lousy West Virginia team. That's not a good West Virginia team. So while we get excited and we get hyped up that, oh my God, OU just beat West Virginia. That was a trap game for West Virginia. They were having a super down year. They had to go into Athens and play in front of 28,000 people who were probably ramped up all morning long at their tailgates. It was a tough game. So great win for OU. They're not world beaters. Now they did play Ohio State well for a while. They did go in Columbus and play them well into the third quarter. I don't know. I can't remember what the final was. The final was what, 49-21 or something like that.
Yeah, it got away from him a little bit at the end. But yeah, it was close for a while.
So yes, they're really, really good. Probably, guys, the best team will play all year outside of this Auburn and Purdue game. So 100% best team will play outside of those two money games. So they're going to have their hands full. I think Parker Navarro is the best quarterback in the MAC, and it's not even close. I think he is a special, special player. I don't know if he plays on Sunday, but good Lord, he is really good. And I saw him last year, and he's going to be just as good, if not better, this year. So,
yeah, he's got that like Sam Hartman effect too.
Oh.
Like you're watching it with your lady, and then she's like, "Who is that?" You know what I mean? He's definitely a Casanova looking kind of guy. Like,
oh yeah, he's a good looking
got
kid.
The it factor.
He did, because he can run.
QB.
He can run. He can pass. He makes great decisions in tough situations. He doesn't make mistakes. He's very, very heady, very good quality quarterback. I really like Parker Navarro. So he's really special.
All right, so we're talking about coming out of this non-conference slate 1-3. It might feel bad to some fans out there, but we still have every goal is still in front of them. They can still make a bowl game. They can still win the MAC. They're 0-0 in the MAC. Chris, what do you think Ball State needs to do coming out of this bye week and starting MAC play to hit those goals, to make a bowl game, to potentially end up somehow in the MAC championship game? What are the biggest changes that you need to see to lead you to believe that they can still do that?
Okay, great question. So, number one, get healthy, okay? There are several guys, especially on defense, several contributing players on defense. I'm talking about Caden Johnson, Nathan's a little bit dinged up. Those guys got to get healthy. Get your bodies right. Take care of your bodies through the whole nutrition, rest, recovery, all that stuff. Get healthy for this stretch of 8 or 9 weeks that we got coming up. Number one. Number two, get in the film room, and the coaching staff's going to have to dial and tweak some of these mistakes that they've been making. So, because they're not going to be able to win the MAC, and they're not going to be able to go to a bowl game unless they start fixing some of these little minute errors, a couple of the big ones here and there. When they start dialing in and fixing those issues, that's when the wins will start coming in MAC play. Every game going forward here, this is going to sound totally out of left field, is 100% winnable. Every game is winnable right now. And that is, I'm not embellishing. I'm not blowing smoke up your guys' rear ends. Every game going forward is winnable. Will they win every game? I don't know. I can't say that, but it is winnable. And so they've got to take the mindset, get healthy, take care of the little things, and then get the mindset that, hey, we can win this game. And Coach Hughes always said it. It's 12 one-game seasons, right? He treats it like that. It's a one-game season. Got a week off. Make sure you're resting, taking care of your bodies. And then as we go into OU, make sure that we think and we believe we're going to win that game. Okay, that's the first step. And it sounds really philosophical and hokey and yay. And no, truly, you got to tell yourself you're going to win the game. Visualize that. Hey, visualize us singing to the crowd afterward after we just won, upset OU at home. So,
yeah, and I for the fans who've been paying close attention, you can see this team has gotten better each week. Again, is the record what everyone wants? No, obviously not. We want to be, you want to be 4-0 if you can be.
Right.
But you can see from where they kicked off against Purdue to where they ended this UConn game, they are a much better team, at least in my opinion. But
agreed.
Colin, do you have anything else for Chris you wanted to ask or get off your chest about this first quarter of the season?
Yeah, well, now I'm looking forward here to Ohio, and like you said, no game is unwinnable. Like these are all games we can win. And what makes me the most confident about going against Ohio, because I do think Ohio is maybe the best team in the MAC this year, but Gardner Webb just put up 35 points against Ohio. I think that's FCS, if I'm correct.
It is.
And they scored 52, right? So the offense is going to be something to look out for. The secondary should definitely be watching that game, taking notes. But where would you attack Ohio, and what do you think their main weaknesses are on that team? Have you had a chance to look into them at all?
So a little bit. I watched the West Virginia game, right? And there are no weaknesses in the offense. They run the ball really well. They throw the ball really well. Their defense is probably a little sus. You know what I mean? Like, I think you can run the ball on them. You can throw. We can throw the ball on them. There's no doubt in my mind. Watching them against West Virginia, we can throw the ball and we can run the ball against them. The problem in that game is, just like you said, Colin, they put up 52. Now, it doesn't matter who you play. If you put up 52, you got a pretty good offense. But they also gave up 31. So we're going to have to make sure, how would we attack more? I would word it more, how are we going to find a way to beat them? And that is long drives, 7 minute drives, which keeps the best defense is a good offense, right? So long drives keeps Parker Navarro over there with his hat on and talking on the headsets, talking to his coaches upstairs, like, what are we going to do the next series? Keeping him off the field. So that's what I would say. Attack that. Have long, extended, purposeful drives where you're running the ball, you're throwing short, moving the chains, clock short. You shorten that game, right? Shorten that game down to where now Parker Navarro is only getting 5, maybe 6 possessions total. That's a great way to attack Ohio, because when you keep that offense, that running game, and his passing game, along with his ability to make plays with his feet, if you can keep him limited in that, that's a great way to beat Ohio. That's easier said than done because nobody's done it yet, right? Except for Ohio State, and they're going to do that to just about everybody this year. So that's a great way to attack them right there. So if I'm Ball State, my plan this week is I'm going to have long extended drives. I'm going to find a way to get 3.5, 4 yards of carry. I'm going to find a way to get 6 or 7 every pass, move the chains, keep that game really, really short. There's no college game that's short now because of the TV timeouts. They're all the same length. But I always think in terms of high school, like, how do we end the game by 9 o'clock, right? That's always the goal. If you can do that by running it 68 times, that's perfect. So, but in college, it's a little different.
Now, Chris, before we get out of here, I got to let everybody know. I don't know if it's been Sundays or Mondays, but each week this year, I have got a text from one Chris Radican giving me a review of each press box he's been to in the facilities. So, Chris, which would you say, outside of Schumann Stadium, we'll take Schumann Stadium out of the equation. So Purdue, Auburn, and UConn, which has been the best press box / radio guy experience that we've had so far?
Well, first of all, Colin, I need to send those to you. So I'll get those to you. They're pretty lengthy. And now I'm getting demands from other people. I need this. First, I think I was doing it on a Monday or Sunday, and now I'm getting them done Saturday night on the way home. So, Ross-Ade was great, boys. Ross-Ade was as top-notch as I've been to, and that's including Auburn, Miami, the U, which was terrible. And I'll say that on the air. I don't care. That was a terrible facility. But no, Ross-Ade was number one. First of all, had the best soda product in known demand. We're not sponsored by anybody. You guys aren't sponsors. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. So
we're not sponsored. We're not sponsored by anybody yet. But if anyone wants to, they are free to do so.
Yeah, and had the greatest soda brand there is, and they had every variety you could imagine. Food was great. The hospitality was wonderful. That was great. Auburn was pretty good as well. UConn was no slouch at all. It's an old press box. It's a little beat. So, but Ross-Ade was number one. The shoe's still the best, boys. Shoes, and I've been to a bunch of them now. And the shoe's still my favorite.
And the other question I always end up asking you at some point, I don't know if I did this week. I had a few libations before the game, but I usually ask how fast the grass is, or turf, I guess. Yes. Who's had the fastest grass?
Oh, Purdue.
Purdue.
I don't know how they do it. I talked to their beat writer, a guy named Tom Dienhart, before the game. He and I talked for about 30 minutes before the game, and he and I've gotten to know each other over the past few years, and through a mutual friend. And so that's that turf at Purdue. And some Purdue fan, if you guys see this, correct me if I'm wrong. That's actually was designed by their agricultural program. So and they it's part of their agriculture school. So it's called prescription turf or something like that. It actually waters from underneath.
Yes.
And drains down really well. So the water, and it actually heats so it doesn't freeze as well. So it's pretty neat. It's pretty
Okay.
cool. So that was and Auburn was second. Auburn was close second. UConn had a really nice field as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. All right, Colin, any last things for Chris before we let him get out of here?
No. Thank you for being a friend of the show. This is our number one most appeared guest on Ball State of the Union.
love
so
it.
we appreciate
sure.
you. We love you. Thank you for coming.
I appreciate you guys. I have so much fun. I'll do it all the time. I'm always willing and able to do it. I'm just, I don't have, I'm an empty nester now, boys. So I got nothing else going on.
Oh, there we go. Well, hey, actually, if that's the case, before you go, then I'm just going to loop you in. We just have a couple here. I'll loop you in on listener questions as well. You can answer them with us if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. There's only 2 left, actually. We did some during the interview with Lauren. So
Okay.
first one, and actually both from our friend Shay, who's actually going to be a guest on the show on Sunday. I'll get to that here in just a second. But so Shay had something for you, Chris. He said,
lay it on me.
Akron has the best press box in the MAC. What are your thoughts on Akron's press box? Have you ever been there?
I have never been there, so I can't speak to Akron.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and I know their stadium is the Rubber Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been there. They weren't in the MAC when I played.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they were like an independent or something like that. So I think I've never been there.
Okay. So there we go. You got that one to look forward to. And he had one other thing here. This was for Colin, but I'll pose it to you as well. And I'll answer too. So he said, Colin, what's the best on-campus building to eat? He said his was nowhere.
Yeah, this guy knows his stuff, dude. So I lived at Stu West, which if you know anything about
I do.
Ball State campus,
They didn't have a dining hall.
No, they didn't. It was just like a little. Oh no, you had to go to Stu East. They had like a little thing you could just grab food out of there, but it was more like a grab and go.
Yeah.
But the closest one was Neuer. I always got the Neuer pizza, because dude, when I was in college, I definitely got the freshman 15, like the freshman 30 when I was on those meal plans. Those little onion, instead of French fries, they have like in the red containers. There's like a little onion chips, fried onion chips.
They were onion petals.
Smack.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are so good.
Yes.
You can't beat the Atrium either. You got Chick-fil-A. Back when I ate meat, there was a Mexican restaurant in there, Papa John's.
Okay.
Yeah, the Atrium was to die for too.
Well, I was a La Follette guy, so La Follette might have been gone when you guys were there.
It was there when I was there.
It was there.
It
was there.
Mhm.
I lived in La Follette for 2 years, and that was pretty dope. That had probably one of the biggest dorm like dining halls I'd ever seen, and it was ginormous, and that was wonderful. La Follette was really good. We had our training table at Neuer, which was off the hook. It was great. Neuer was great. Sundays they did like a Sundays. What was the dorm down on University right next to Emmons? It was like Woodward or
Woodworth.
Woodward.
Yeah.
That was gonna be my pick.
Sundays they did like a breakfast buffet that had,
Mm.
I mean, everything you would even imagine on a breakfast buffet, and we would trek down there on Sunday mornings, especially like in the off season, and we would just post up there for like 2 hours. I can't believe they didn't throw us out.
Chris, I assume you probably don't, but do you ever eat on campus now?
No, never, not once. No.
So
no.
my vote is going to be for Woodworth. Now,
Yeah.
there's 2 reasons why. And again, things could have changed since I was there last. But when I was in school, they had 2 things that I would always get. One, they had like a DIY stir fry station where they'd cook it right there for you. So you go through and get everything you'd want, which was awesome. And then the other thing they had that was awesome was they had what was called spinner salads. Did they have spinner salads when you were there?
Yes. Yeah.
Spinner salads are the best. Colin, do you know what this is?
I don't know what that is. No.
So basically, you'd go through, and again, same thing. You'd pick everything you wanted in your salad. You pick your lettuce, your toppings, your whatever, and then they'd put it in this big metal bowl, and they'd set it in ice, and they would like spin it in the ice, and that's how they'd mix it up. And it was so good, and they were like humongous. They were awesome.
Yeah.
So there
Woodward was great. Woodworth was great.
So
yeah, it was.
Okay, that's all of our listener questions here today. So
I got 3 more things first, John.
Talk to me.
Go ahead.
We need to post the correction on Joey Stemler, Pulse of Cardinal Nation, and then we got to talk about the lack of the posts that we were seeing too.
Oh, okay. So Joey Stemler thing. I made a mistake in the New Hampshire game. I thought his targeting came in the second half. It came at the end of the first. So we on the show last week had said he was going to be out for the first half against UConn. I just got that mixed up. So That was it. And what was the second? Oh, and your pulse of Cardinal Nation. I guess, Chris, you can react to these as well if you'd like.
Yeah, Joey. So I'm going to say, let me interrupt, Colin. So I thought the rule was still, it didn't matter when you got thrown out, you had to sit out the next game. I thought that was, and I guess the rule changed. Now it's just one half. So first half means his suspension was the second half. So if it was the second half, he would just have to sit out the first half.
Yeah.
So I was wrong. I was wrong too during the game. I was upset. It was by the way, for the record, and I will say this, I will shout this from that was a terrible call against Joey Stimmer.
It was tough because they had the running back for UNH or whoever it was. They had like 3 guys on him, and they kind of spun him out right as they were blowing the whistle.
Yeah,
and it did not look good live. I'll give him that, but when you really broke it down, it's just kind of really a bad timing thing. I know it might sound like a homer as a Ball State guy, but they had him wrapped up, and they kind of threw him out right as the whistle was blown, and he couldn't stop himself.
Boys, they didn't blow the whistle till right as he hit him. The whistle wasn't blown, so it was a terrible call, and the optics looked terrible because the kid's hat popped off. So that's it. That's it. He led with the shoulder. It was fine. It was a clean hit. It was a terrible call.
All right, Colin, let's do Pulse of Cardinal Nation. We'll get out of here.
Yeah, so John had previously asked me about how we were feeling. So far, I need a little graphic for this, John. Like, on the left side, it's resting. On the right side, it's heightened, perhaps. So I made sure, to post it to the people, and the feedback I got was, seems like everyone wanted to be 2-2 after these 4 games, especially after this game was played, because this felt, during the game as you're watching it, felt like the win was attainable. But 1-3 actually seems to be what everybody expected going into the season, just like Chris was saying. One person was even expecting 0-12. We had a conversation about that, but the biggest positives that we've seen so far is that the team continues to grow and improve each week, particularly on offense. So right now it seems like the fans are, nobody's got their pitchforks up in arms. Everybody seems to be pleased. There's growth being seen on the field week after week. So it's kind of a letdown, Pulse of Cardinal Nation. You want to have something, people are riled up or whatnot, but it's actually a good thing. No news is good news in this sense. Like, I felt the win. There was no smoke in the air. Everything's fine. So
and honestly, you guys said it best. This team is growing. They're getting better every single week. They are improving at all facets, all positions on the field. The biggest takeaway, I don't know if any of us saw this coming going into the season, and if you guys really watch, this team plays really, really hard physical football, and they play right until the end. They play all the way to the last whistle. You saw that on Saturday in the victory formation by UConn. There was no quit in that team. All right. Game was over. Game was out of hand. They did not stop, and it was not dirty what they were doing. There is no quit. They have been taught by this staff. There is no quit. You guys will not lay down at all. And I have not seen it. Whether it was Purdue, they played hard until the end. Auburn, they had to play hard until the end against UNH, and then against UConn, they played their tails off until that final whistle went down. So I don't know if we saw that coming, or we just didn't know how to. We hadn't seen it in a while. So, but to see that now is pretty impressive, and to see that team fight until the end is pretty nice.
Yeah, well said. So, next week, Ohio game. Chris, Colin, and Willie. Unfortunately, he texted us during this. He had a family thing come up. He wasn't able to jump on with us tonight. But Colin and Willie will both be there next week. So you guys should try and link up. Willie's going to be there he's getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. So everyone be on the lookout for him there. If you see him, tell him hello. Tell him you watch the show, something like that. So
unfortunately, I will not be there.
Oh, no.
I know it's crazy. I just found out the other day, one of my oldest childhood friends, his dad passed away.
Oh,
and so thanks. And it was bad. So, so the funeral was that day. So it wasn't even a decision for me, boys. That stuff comes before anything else. So, I talked to Mick on Friday, and I had to tell him, hey, look, find a replacement. So, the old Nick Traub will be coming back for that one. So,
okay.
So you guys will get Nick back for that one. And I apologize, Colin. I'd love to meet you, but I will be I'll be on the west side of Indy on that day.
No worries. I'll be at Western Michigan too. So
okay, I'll be there. So I'll be at that one. So
perfect. All right. Well, everyone, listen for Nick Traub next week.
Yes, sir.
Also another friend of the show here. So, okay, everyone. Great episode. We appreciate Lauren Jackson, again, the former Charlie Cardinal, coming on, letting us know kind of the ins and outs of what it looks like behind the beak. Obviously, a great friend of the show, Chris Radican, coming on as well and breaking everything down for us. So this week, again, it might be the bye week, but Balls to the Union, we do not stop. So we had our episode tonight. We'll have another episode for you on Sunday. And we're going to take you inside the equipment room, a place that you maybe is not seen often by fans. So we have a couple former Ball State equipment managers are going to come on and kind of give you guys some inside look at that and some stories. So be on the lookout for that on Sunday.
Is Tex going to be on there?
To be determined. I'm still trying to get everybody lined up. But if Tex isn't on this week, I'll have him on at some point. But be on the lookout.
That dude, man. That dude.
So, all right, everyone out there, we appreciate your time. Again, like the show, leave a comment. Let's grow the Cardinal community together, okay? Chirp, chirp, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you.